And now it's time for some things in the news that caught my eye. And if you are a fan of retro gaming, you probably heard about the popular emulation ROM site EMU Paradise voluntarily stopping downloads of ROMs from their site. So they have been kind of a clearinghouse for a long period of time where you can kind of dig into all of the major consoles of the last 30 years or so and download just about every game that ever came out for them. And they were clearly very popular, clearly very illegal, but I think it speaks to how consumers want to get these games, because right now there are not many legal avenues to acquire most of the video games of the last 30 or 40 years. It's really quite difficult to get a digital copy of something through a legal means. And a great example of that is this game Contra that came out on the NES probably back in 1987 or so. That's when I bought it, and you cannot buy this game digitally as far as I know. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments section, but as far as I'm aware, the $20 eBay price for the loose cartridge is the only legal way that you can actually acquire Contra in 2018. And people looking to play this on their computers or their phones or whatever have been going to sites like EMU Paradise because it's there and there's no place to legally buy it. I bet you if it was available for $2 somewhere, people would be paying that very happily to get that ROM file into their hands, but alas, Konami just hasn't made it available, even though they own the IP to it. And what they have been doing, though, instead of actually selling the game, is going after people. So they've been going after YouTube creators, for example, who put footage of that video game into their videos. Even though it's a fair use, Konami is able to do this because the only way we can defend our fair use of that footage is to sue them and go to court, which none of us can really afford to do. And even if we won, we would be spending so much more money suing them than we'd ever get back. So it's a pretty easy way to make some quick bucks off of a retro game that you're not selling by just going after tens of thousands of views per week perhaps and making money off of that, because they can leave the video up and take all the ad revenue away. The other thing they've been doing is going after these ROM sites, and I think it's only a matter of time before they start going after some individuals to try to make examples out of them, like the music industry did during the Napster era. There we had individuals who maybe had 5 or 6 songs up on a Napster library getting sued for tens of thousands of dollars and settling out of court for usually a couple thousand to get the case out of the court system or whatever, and they were very aggressive about that. All the while, the music industry wasn't actually selling music to people the way they were looking to buy it. In fact, if you look at how long it took the music industry to finally deliver what customers wanted, I time it at about 13 years from the time that the MP3 sites first started showing up on the internet to when iTunes finally started selling DRM-free music in 2009. That's how long it took them. And in the intervening years, they were just suing the crap out of everybody, hoping they could force them back into buying CDs again. And in the case of Contra, that's a used cartridge. You're not giving any money to Konami when you buy that game. It's going to the resale market here. The only time they ever made money was back in 1987. And if we take it a step further here, take a look at the SNES library here. Android Sophia posted up this really good analysis here of how many SNES games there were, 721 in North America alone. The Wii Store, before it shut down, only had 74 of those games available to acquire legally on a modern system. That number is down now to 51. And I think that what the industry needs to do here is learn from the record industry's mistake. And one of the things that I am suggesting the industry start doing is the RetroRom Challenge. And what this is something I want to start. Maybe you can all help spread the word on this. Is let's go out to some developers and see if we can get a few to start selling their old NES ROMs, for example, for a reasonable amount on their websites. Maybe 99 cents, maybe $1.99, whatever they think is fair. But make these ROMs available for purchase legally so that people can play these games the way they want, where they want, basically DRM free. It worked for old DOS games on GOG, which is a great site for finding some of those old games I used to play. They're completely DRM free. I can play them any way I want. And I think the same needs to happen with some of these old console games. Just make them available and charge people for it. It just boggles the mind that they can't make these games available to people the way they want to play them. Instead, we have all this copyright nonsense, all this future litigation coming down the pike when they could actually be making money and pleasing their customers at the same time. It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not in these corporate boardrooms either. But hopefully somebody there will raise their hand one day and say, hey, why don't we sell these ROMs to people? They seem to really want them. That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? So hopefully we can get the RetroRom challenge going, and maybe one developer out there will take us up on it.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Chris Allegretta, the Four Guys with Quarters podcast, Tom Albrecht, Bill Reiner, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.